Hey everybody, good afternoon. Sorry I'm starting a little bit late today. Not starting late, but joining you later in the afternoon. My name is Trisha. I'm with Happy Home Designs, and I am coming to you again this afternoon with another presentation. This doesn't show that I'm watching. Just bear with me just a second. I've got a new computer, so I'm trying to get things figured out. As you guys hop on, just send me a message so I know who all's here, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm still in Christmas. Hey Jennifer, I'm still in the Christmas mode. I think I'm going to probably do Christmas almost every day for the next couple of weeks anyway. Like I said yesterday, I'm trying to work ahead and get things done ahead for my own new home, as well as to put things in a couple of shops that I need to get out there to sell. So today, just at the last minute, I thought, what am I going to make? What do I have? I want to use something I've already got on hand. Hey Diane, thank you for joining us. I wanted to use products that I already had on hand. Some of this is from last year that I've held over in boxes, and then some of it I'm kind of going to use in a different way, I guess, today. So here's what we're going to do. I have got a 16 by 20 black canvas. Now this canvas was not black initially, it was white. If I flip it over, you can see I just purchased a white canvas and then I painted it black. And I was actually working on a custom order for somebody, and I wanted to have a couple of surfaces ready just in case I messed one up, and this was the leftover surface. So I'm going to be using this black canvas. I am also going to use a wreath. This is, I don't know what you call this kind of wood. It's kind of like twigs actually, but this is a wreath that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's about, I'm going to say it's probably a 14-inch outside to outside, and it is going to go in the middle of my canvas. But I don't particularly care for the color, so we're going to change that. I will be using, I'm not sure which of these, but some actual berries and Christmas florals picks. I have my ribbons. I have 3 different ribbons, a burlap, a buffalo check, and a red and white stripe. And I have this cute little ornament. I got this last year at the Dollar Tree. It's just a sled, but it has a burlap coating on it. So, not coating, but the sled base is covered in a red burlap, and it has some letters. I think it's supposed to be words, but I thought it was really cute. I'm going to add it to my wreath as well. And then in the middle of my wreath, I am going to put a Christmas phrase. I'm just going to put Merry Christmas in the middle. So this wreath will hang over the edge of the burlap or the canvas. It will be a different color. It's going to have flowers on it for the holiday. And then, hey Anna, and then it will have the words in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Trying to decide which process I want to go through first, but I think I know. I like the black canvas, but it's just a little too stark, a little too black. And I want to lighten it up just a little bit. I have some white paint. This is just apple barrel white from Walmart. I have a plate, a happy birthday plate I'll use as my, not sure if this is opened or not. I don't know if it's new. Let me see if I can get my words. Got it. So I'm going to squirt some of this out. I'm basically just going to give it kind of a snowy look on the outside of my canvas. So I'm just going to lightly brush, probably dry brush, the edges of the canvas, and I'll go all the way around just so it looks a little, not necessarily distressed, well maybe distressed. I don't know what word you would use, but I just don't want it to be so stark black. I don't want it to have a brand new look. So I'm just dabbing. I know you can't see. Got my white paint. This is a fan brush. I haven't used this before, but it's super light and kind of airy. The bristles are not tight. So I got it good and wet with the white paint, and I'm wiping most of it off on my plate. I think this is what I want to use. I think you guys can pretty much see all the edges. You can see up here. So I'm just going to take, and I'm nervous because I know I'm about to start doing something. So if it doesn't turn out the way I like it, I can always go back over. I brought down the black just in case. But I'm just gonna, oh, I like it. I'm just gonna kind of brush back and forth on the edges and let it fade as it goes in towards the middle a little bit. I don't want it to look like an actual border. I don't know if you can even, you guys can tell that just a little bit. I don't want it to really look like a border around the frame or around the canvas. So I don't want, and actually I may end up covering the entire thing, I don't know. So I'm noticing that you guys may not be able to see. I'm gonna keep it slid back. Tell me now, can you see? Can you see this top edge? I can see it on my screen, but when I look at myself over here, I can't necessarily see. So just tell me if you're having trouble seeing. I know this is a large area, so I may have to finagle things just a little bit. Hey, as you guys are jumping on, I want you to remember to go ahead and I want you to sprinkle the video. Just click that button down there and tell all your friends to join in and watch. I would really appreciate that. Can you see now, maybe? I may end up doing the entire surface. Well, that's a little heavier than I anticipated. Don't like that. I'm not going to do the whole surface because my words in the middle of that wreath are going to be in white. So I don't want them to bleed in really bad. So I may end up having to go back over some of this area in black to cover up some of the white that I've gotten too heavy. You can't see it, Anna? Can you see now? Can you see me now? It may help if I hold it up. I may just have to take a minute every once in a while and raise it up some. I'm just going to keep adding my white. Some places are a little heavier than others. That is not the look I was going for, but I'm going to fix it. I thought I would be able to feather it in a little bit easier, but it's not as easy as I thought. You know, don't be afraid to try new things. I just said I was scared, and I usually don't trust myself that I can fix things. But you can. It's just a project. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't turn out exactly the way you anticipated, or if you need to fix it. Feel free. So after I get this pretty much all except for the very middle, with some light streaks of white, I am going to go back in with some black and cover it back up a little bit. So I do actually have a border. Let me see, my wreath is going to be in the middle, and I think that's pretty good as far as, let me cut my tag off. I think it's pretty good as far as the size that I need to leave open in the middle. I know that's an awful lot of white, but I'm going to fix it. But I don't want to have these corners showing either, so just bear with me. Let me get it fixed. I'm actually going to round out my corners just a little bit, and basically what we'll have is more white on the outside of the wreath, black on the inside. How about that? So now I'm just going to make it a circle, about the same size as that wreath. Not looking great right this minute, but you know you can always fix it. Hey, Evelyn. How are you today? Okay, let me lay my wreath back on. I think that's pretty good. But like I said, I've got way more white than I intended. I'm going to go back in and fix that a little bit. Got my black. I'm just going to go right back over it with some black. Maybe I can get it to give me the look I want. Actually, I might switch brushes. It may be that I'm using the wrong brush. Get a little heavier brush. I'm putting a little bit of black on the end, dabbing off most of it. I mean, I really don't want there to hardly be any paint on here, but I know I've got way too much white right here. I'm trying Let's see how I want to start. I'm going to try to go really, really light. And I don't want it to turn gray. So tell me what everybody's up to today. Are you guys shopping? Who's doing online shopping this year? We probably will. I'm working on an order right now for Christmas gifts. Shh, don't tell my daughter-in-laws. I know that we're all having trouble getting into the spirit a little bit because we've not been able to shop. And of course, it's not Christmas time yet either. All the online shopping, Anna said. Anna's a good online shopper for sure. But I'm trying to get into the shopping mood. And I'm a little disappointed that we can't do our big Black Friday shopping, that most of the stores are not going to be open on. And I'm going to say this, I know it's a controversial subject, but I didn't mind the Thanksgiving night shopping. I actually enjoyed it. And I'm not going to be able to do that this year. Nobody's going to be open. So I'm trying to convince myself that it's okay if I have to do a lot of shopping online. But we did buy some Christmas shopping shirts. Isn't that right, girls? So I will be out and about as much as I possibly can be. That's also the weekend that I'm moving into a new house. And I've got a lot of work to do. But I don't want to give up the shopping. Okay, let me see. I think you guys can see, and it probably looks darker to you now than it actually is. Let me see what I've got. Kind of sloppy looking. It may be kind of sloppy looking. But remember, this is just a project. It won't be the end of the world if it's not perfect. I know my wreath will lay right in the middle of that. Like this. And a lot of this is going to be covered up too, you guys. I'm going to have a big bow at the top. So for right now, look, sometimes you just have to put it aside. Put it aside, let it dry a little bit. I'll come back to that and I'll see if I totally hate it, I'll go back over it with black and cover it all again completely with black. Won't be the end of the world, right? Okay, let me get my paints out of the way. I can use those again in a minute if I need to. So this is my wreath. Remember, I got it from Dollar Tree. It is not my favorite thing, but it was $1. I've had it for several months. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I thought I can actually spruce it up by using some of my greenery for the holidays. Cover up part of this and hang it on this canvas. So what I'm going to do is I have some Minwax gel stain. Gel is exactly what it said. It's a stain, but it is almost congealed like gelatin. That's why it's called gel stain. It does look like a dark forest. Hey, Anna, good idea. We can do online shopping. Yeah, we can kick guys out and just sit around the computer or our phones and shop together online if we have to. But I still plan on getting out and about. So what I'm going to do, this gel stain, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this is a fairly new can, but you can see it actually shakes inside. It is not liquid. It is congealed. But what I'm going to do, I don't really necessarily think that I need to cover every bit of this. I just need to darken it up a little bit. It just looks way too stark for me. I don't particularly care for that blonde color. No wonder my gloves itch me. It still had a tag on it from probably 3 years ago. Get that off. I am going to glove up because the gel stain does seem to stay on my hands longer than I really want. I've just got a foam brush and literally I'm getting some of this gel on my foam brush. And I'm just going to start going over. So that's the color of the gel stain. It's just going to darken it up a little bit. It's not going to cover all of these areas. There's no way I would ever be able to cover all of these twigs. But all you do is you wipe it on brush it on however you want to do it, and then you're going to take a cloth and we'll wipe it back off. So I just want to give this a little bit of color, make it look more like branches that you would see laying outside. That's really what I'm going for. Let me get this brushed on. So you guys, as you join in, if you will, send me a message so I know who's here. I can see the eyeballs, but I like to see the names too. And also, as you sprinkle, please send me a message so that I know you did so. I want to be able to keep up with who all sprinkled. You never know coming down the road if there's a giveaway or something you might be interested in. Hey, Aunt Barbara. Oh, that's okay, Barbara. I just got started just a few minutes ago. You didn't really miss much. I am working on a 16, well, right now a wreath, but a 16 by 20 black canvas that I kind of made it look a little bit snowy. And then I'm going to hang a Christmas wreath from it and put some words on it, some Merry Christmas words. But right now I am staining this wreath with some gel stain. So that's where I'm at. So if you guys can tell, I'm just slopping it on there. I don't have to have it all the way across the top because up here is where my florals are going to go. So I'm really just going to concentrate on that bottom area and the sides. And of course, I am not interested at all in having it on the back. The back is going to be up against my canvas. And I'm just trying to get it down in those grooves as much as I can. So I had some things to do this morning. I had an errand to run, and I like to go live in the mornings, but when you have an infant in the house, morning time lives are not always the best. Once he goes down for a nap, if I don't have all of my stuff together, and I know it's going to take me, 45 minutes or an hour or so for a live, then I may not have enough time to do it while he's asleep. And here lately, I really can't trust that he's going to sleep as long as I want him to. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Like I said, I'm not going to worry about the back. Excuse me. The back is still white or whatever color this is. It's blonde. I've got my old trusty old rag, and I'm just going to go to town. Just wipe it off. The reason I did this is because I don't care for the blonde wood on these twigs. But that's my own personal preference. I mean, they sell these in the store, so somebody uses them. It's just not my style, but hey, when you can get something for $1 at the Dollar Tree, then I'm gonna snag it up. Like I said, I've had these for a while. I've just not used them. I've been thinking about how I was gonna do it, and then today it just hit me, let's just change the color. I think that was the reason I haven't used it, is because I really didn't care for the color. So I did a test piece on a smaller size wreath upstairs and thought, okay, this works. So now there are some darker spots down inside. Can you see? So up here, this is the area I have not touched, and then starting here is what I've darkened up a little bit. But if I can't get my cloth on it, then it's not going to touch any other surface either. So it should be fine on my canvas, and it will dry. Trying to get it up in the cracks the best I can. But I kind of like it. It makes it look older, makes it look more rustic. So I'm going to lay this to the side, and we'll put it on my plate. No, I'm not. I'm going to put it on this plate. Okay, so I'm going to take my wreath and just put it to the side as well. And then I'm going to go back to my canvas. May try to touch it up a little bit more and see if I like it better. Let me lay this back here on this towel. Right there. Okay, these are my words that are going to go in the middle of that canvas. It's going to be right smack in the middle of the wreath. I'm not using all of this frame, this border, and I'm not using the little greenery here. No, I'm not using the greenery, or maybe I am. I might use the greenery. But it won't be green, it'll be white. I want that to show up really good on that black canvas. I'm going to go ahead and put these words on, let them start drying. And then I'm going to go back around on this surface that I'm not positive that I love right now. It's kind of choppy looking. A little bit too, trying to think of the word. Not good and smooth, I guess is what it is. But remember, it's just a project. It's not the end of the world. I'm going to get my words right smack in the middle of this. I want to make sure that when I lay my wreath on top, they're going to show, and they do. I think that's perfect. So I'm using a chalk couture stencil. You guys know I've used these before. This is what I use the most because they don't bleed. I don't have bleeding issues. And they clean up really well, and I can use them over and over and over. The lifetime is supposed to be up to 20 times, but I know I've got transfers that I probably use 50, especially on some of my individual letters. So I'm just using white ink on my squeegee. Doesn't take very much. I probably have too much actually. Get that on there. I am going to go ahead and do that greenery, but that greenery is going to be white because I want it to show up on this background. It will just look snowy. Because these words actually have a curve to them, they're arched, and it kind of calls for something underneath. So I feel like if I left that greenery off, it may not look that great. Now canvas, because this is a stretched canvas, it has a lot of give in the middle. You know, it has a weakness in the middle, and I have to make sure that I mash down hard enough to account for that weakness or that give that it has. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to lift my transfer off. There are my words. You guys see that? Let me get my slick so I can reach. I'll have to lay this on a plate. Okay. All right, so here's what we have now. So I know you guys are reading this backwards and it drives me crazy, but I can't change my camera on this phone. So that's what I have, and my wreath is going to be going around it, over the top, so you'll see that, but we have to dress this bad boy up here in a minute. In the meantime, I'm getting stain all over my hands. In the meantime, I am going to try to work on this just a little bit more on the paint. I'm still not really happy with the way my snowy look looks. So I think I'm going to add some black, some more black over the top. Maybe I just have way too much white on there. Okay, I'm going to start right here where it's a lot of white. I want to see the white. I want it to look snowy, but I don't want it to be just in your face. I hope I end up making this the way I want it to look. You know, you never know when you start something if it's going to turn out exactly the way you want it to or not. And if I get to a point that I like it, it may not be that it's to a point that you guys like it. If you were doing your own, you might say, oh, I don't want any snow at all. I like that stark black look or whatever. And that's totally fine. You know, when we all go to the store, there are so many different varieties of home decor pieces to buy because we don't all like the same thing. Isn't that right? Let me get over here. Some people like more rustic, some people like more of a classic look, and so on. And I'm not sure if I'm making it better for myself or if I'm making it worse. But we'll see. You guys are quiet today. Are you sprinkling the video? not seeing a lot of talking going on. So remember, the plan that Mark and I are working on is that come January, that's my target date, we are going to start doing make and take classes. Not really what's make and take, but it will be a subscription, a monthly subscription class where you can order a box online of all the tools that you need for a particular project that I'll be doing that month. And then I will do an online video. At the same time that you're at home working on your project, I'll be working on mine. And I can show you how to put it all together. And then for local people, people that can actually get to my home in this area, then I'm going to have a monthly class at my home too. So that way I'll provide all of the products. It'll be a subscription as well. It will be a month to month, but still a recurring subscription unless you tell me differently, or until you tell me differently. But I'll have all the product and I'll have everything set up in my home, and you just join me on the designated night and we'll create whichever craft together. What's Ryder saying? Hey Nani, hey Nani. That's usually what he's saying. Okay, and I'm going to go back in with a little bit more white in a circle motion. And then I'm going to have to stop because I'm getting anxious about whether I like it or not. I probably should have already stopped. I mean, I just added way too much. Tell me what you guys think so far. I know it's kind of hard to see the bigger picture because it's not a big picture right now. Okay, I'm literally gonna leave it alone. I'm making myself mad because I keep adding to it and I don't know if I'm making it worse or not. But until I get the wreath on there, I guess I won't know. Season's greetings. Actually, I don't right now, Diane. Diane said, do I have a stencil that says season's greetings or winter wishes similar in this size? I don't, but I do have a season's greetings that is, I should get by the 1st of November. It is my November club of the month or transfer of the month, and I'll be getting that usually about the 1st of the month. And it says season's greetings. It has the deer head and then it has some greenery, but I'm not sure how big the words are because the entire transfer is usually an 8.5 by 11, like a sheet of paper, and the words are only a small section of that. So not positive if it's big enough, but I can look and see what I can come up with. There are transfers that I don't have one of, so that may be the case, that it's just something I need to order if that's something you need. Okay, I'm going to go back to my wreath. I'm going to grab my little rag and just make sure that the parts that I touch are not really soaking wet with that gel. They shouldn't be. I've already wiped them off and wiped them off, and it dries, it soaks in, but I did notice that I got a little bit on my fingertips a minute ago. It's a little bit tacky, but it's not going to hurt anything. I'm using it on my work mat. So what I am planning on doing, I said I'm going to use this little ornament. This is a little sled that came from Dollar Tree. I got this last year, but I hung on to it. You know, I buy things and sometimes I put them in, leave them in the bags and put them in a box and forget that I've got them, but I found this. I actually think Dollar Tree has these right now. They're super flimsy. The sled is actually just plastic, it'll bend, but it's cute, and especially once it's hanging on a tree, you can't tell the difference. So I'm going to be using that, and then up at the top of my wreath where I left it, trying to get it where I left it with no stain on it, I'm going to be hot gluing some of this, my Christmas picks. I've got some individual berries. You can see as I pick things apart, I just keep all the bits and pieces because you never know when you're going to need it. This is just a trash. Okay, I'm going to cut these apart, and they're actually going to go up inside. I'll glue them inside the little cracks of the wreath in different areas, so it really doesn't matter how long my stems are this time. So I'm going to cut several of these apart. so that I have them. I could leave them all together. I mean, it's a cute bunch. That's the way it comes from the store. See, this one's got a piece of like Christmas tree greenery, a piece of pine, some other type of that piece of greenery separate, a leaf. It's got a couple of poinsettias. It has a pine cone. So I could leave it like that. It's cute, but the problem is the stem is way too big, and I can never maneuver it into a project because it's very thick at the bottom. So I usually take them apart, and then I just use them piece by piece. Now these are from the Dollar Tree. They're a little easier usually to pull apart, because all they've done at the store before they hit the store is they have taken all of the elements and put them together in a bunch and then wrapped brown wire around, or brown tape around it. I broke that one. So I'm just undoing it, and instead of that, I'm going to glue them right into my project. Take these off. I just don't need those real thick pieces. Okay, get rid of that. I'm trying to see how many I might need. I like the pine cones. I like the white especially, the snowy look, because my background is snowy. And once I break these off, if I don't use them, believe me, you'll see me pull them out again. But I really like these big berries too. So I'm going to use some of them. I don't need all those green leaves. Just popping them apart. Okay, that may be enough of those. Might need that and that. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick up my pieces and decide where I want different pieces of greenery to go. I want them to be at the top of my wreath, and I want the shape to be kind of like that. So it'll be shaped or angled down, but it's going to extend down my wreath just a little bit, and then there'll be a bow in the middle. I'm going to start with these big greenery pieces. Put me a little bit of hot glue, and I'm literally just poking it in the cracks of this wreath. Also, I have to have a place at the top to hang this on my canvas. So what I'm going to be using is this ribbon will actually loop through the wreath, and it will hold it over the top of the canvas. So I have to leave enough room for that as well. I will do that before I put my bow on. Okay, get some berries going. Try not to drip my glue. And these are all bendable, so once you get them on there, you know, I can just twist them however I want them to go. They don't have to be perfect. So you guys, 5 weeks from today, 5 weeks from today is the day that I get to close on my new house. I'm so excited. We won't move in that day, because the current homeowners won't be out of the house until probably the next evening or so. But we'll be closed anyway. We'll be homeowners again. I'm so excited. I see how I have some new eyeballs jumping on. Once you join us, please send me a message so I know that you're here. Okay, I need a pine cone or two. This wreath is actually super easy to work with because of those cracks. And then I just get my glue on it and stick it through those cracks and let it set. Remember, you guys, if you're having a hard time seeing my project on the table, swipe the words away to the right, and that way you can see a little bit easier. I know it's aggravating sometimes when all the words are popping up across the screen. Put him. I probably should have cut that stem just a little bit, but I didn't. He's already got glue. Let me hold them for just a second. Can you guys see this? Hey Jessica, thanks for joining us. Hope everything is good in your world today. How is Miss Riley? We are working on a 16 by 20 black snowy painted canvas that I'm putting a wreath on, and it says Merry Christmas inside the wreath. So right now I am actually working on the wreath portion, trying to get my greenery to stick, to glue down, but some of it's been more difficult. I don't know if it is the texture of this fake wood or what it is, but it's really not wanting to stick easily. And usually this hot glue, I use Gorilla hot glue, and it is awesome as far as how hot it gets. It's a high temp glue. This is a high temp gun, and it usually glues super easy, but today it's being a little ornery. But it may be the texture of this wood. That's why I did not put any of that stain up there, because I did not want to be staining or trying to glue on that wet stain or damp stain. But it's really just, there that piece is trying to come back out again. Let me get this piece of berry. So Riley is good. She's a sweetie. Riley is my great niece who just turned 2 years old. Okay, I'm just adding a lot more hot glue up in there where I've already got flowers glued or greenery glued. Let that dry for a minute. I think I need a couple of different pieces of greenery to offset it. I like this one. I only have one of him. And remember, you're not going to see all this mess. I am going to cover up all of the mess with a bow. You guys know me. If you've been watching me for even the shortest amount of time, you'll know that I always have to use a bow. Almost always. I am definitely a bow on my decor type person. Okay. Let's see. I do have a couple poinsettias, and I think they're super cute. So I'm going to add them somewhere too. So when I get to talking, I always get a tickle in my throat, but I do have a drink. Okay, I think these are stuck down pretty good. Let me adjust them a little bit. And I'm going to add a poinsettia or two. I'm going to add one more pine cone just to give us an even or an odd number. I'm going to trim this one a little bit. So I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely enjoy crafting. I really do. It gives me a definite sense of pride when I'm finished with something. I'm just tickled at how it turned out. And to know that even when you mess up, like I think I messed up earlier on painting around that canvas, I still think it's going to be cute. And like I said, we don't all have to like the same things in order for something to be cute. I mean, it can be cute and you not necessarily like it. I tell everybody all the time, a lot of my farmhouse signs that Mark and I make, it may not be something that I would buy or that I would use in my home. Some I do, but not all of them. And that's okay, because I'm not making my farmhouse signs just for me. I'm making my signs for whoever is ordering that sign, whoever wants it, or whoever likes it. Okay, I think I need one more something on the other side. It's going to be this leaf, I think. Or can I just adjust this leaf? Never mind, I got it. I just needed that little place filled in. I'm going to show you what I've got, okay? I'm trying to let these dry a little bit though, because they are really having a hard time sticking. But I'm gonna hold it up. Now remember, I left a big gap in the middle on purpose. That gap is going to be covered up in a minute. So that's what I have so far. So the colored part that I darkened up a little bit is around the bottom. And then the rest is just covered up by all the greenery. You don't need to see all that. I mean, it didn't need to be stained because you're not going to see it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and stick on my, trying to make sure you guys can see. My sled, I think, is going to go on this side, down the side. You see how they've got that little string tied. I want to tuck that up underneath. I will hold this up again once I get it on here. The sled's actually just going to straddle my wreath. Lay it down there and then glue it at the top. And what that will do, it won't be so symmetrical. When we get finished, that sled will offset it just a little bit. I just hope it doesn't weigh it down too much to make my wreath try to twist. I don't think it will. I know you love to craft, Anna. You are a wonderful crafter. I know it's hard to do when you've got all these babies, though. Okay, so now I've added my sled to the side. It's cute. It's just hanging down there. And I'm going to start with, remember I said I'm going to hang it with the buffalo check ribbon? It's going to go around the back of the wreath, or over the wreath and around the back of my board. I don't know why I cut such a big loop. That's such a waste. I'm going to have to take some of that off. So basically it is going to hang like this. The bow will actually go on the top of that and cover up that gap. But I'm going to see. Let me lay it back down. So here was my sign. This is my 16 by 20. It needs to go. This is more difficult than I thought for you guys to be able to see. Can you see that? Try not to let it slide down on my words there because my words are not dry yet. Let me cut off this excess. I've just doubled it around my wreath. And then I'm going to take it over and glue it on the back. Okay, now I think the white actually looks good. Let me turn it around where I can see, okay? Bear with me just 1 second. Drop the length of it down just a little. Okay, let me turn it back around to you guys. I'm going to glue the back and then I'll come back to you in just a minute, okay? Just bear with me, I'm back here. Glue the back. Hold that down. I actually think it's cute. Thank you, Aunt Barbara. You like it? It'll be even cuter when I get the bow in the middle. Okay, let me raise up this layer and put some glue right here. Because I had 2 layers of ribbon. I had to get glue in between each layer. Now remember, that hole is not going to be there. You're not going to see that here in a minute. I may need to add a little bit more snow effect around the sides. We'll see. Is it hanging straight? It is. It's centered. Okay, now make sure my glue's pretty dry back there. I will snip off this extra. Remember, this was a canvas that I already had from another project, and I had painted it black prior to today's live because I was actually filling a custom order for somebody, and I wanted to make sure that if I messed up on theirs, I had another surface to go to. So this is that surface. Okay, so I'm going to make a messy bow. When I'm making a messy bow, let me get this where you guys can see. When I'm making a messy bow, I just kind of measure the length that I need it to be. I want it to cover up that entire hole. And then all my pieces of ribbon will be that length. And I'm only using 3 colors of ribbon today, or 3 types. I'm using this, the black and gold buffalo check. So I'm going to use more layers of it than normal. That piece is a little short. I'm going to do 4 of each one, or 4 of these anyway. Put this over here and cut it. I've got them all lined up. I'm going to see if I can cut through all 4 of them at once. I'm going to fold them in half, cut angled up towards the wire, and there I have a dovetail on all of those. Let me do this end. My mom never joined me. I think Mark was texting her today. So Mom, if you're watching, you need to say something so I know you're here. Okay, dovetailed all of those, both ends. I'm going to use my favorite burlap because I think burlap goes with everything. Again, that's kind of like what I was talking to you about a minute ago about, you know, whether your style or not is the same as everybody else's. Burlap is very farmhousey. My style is not totally farmhouse. It's kind of modern farmhouse with a traditional take on it too. I think my style is just totally different. It's kind of eclectic, but I love burlap, and I love this burlap that's frayed on the ends, mainly because it's pretty, but also because it is, it holds up really well. It has a good texture to it, but because it's already frayed on the edges, it won't fray anymore. It's made that way. Okay, and then my last ribbon is this. I got this at Walmart the other day, $1.98 for 12 feet. But it looks like candy cane stripes. So that, I felt like I needed some ribbon that had more white in it to tie back into that white background and the white words in the middle. So I'm going to use that. Let me measure it out. I'm going to do 4 pieces of this as well. So there's 1. Hey, Mom. I didn't know if you made it or not. 2. Have you been here all along? Hey, Leah. Thank you for joining. I don't know if you're just joining in. I will recap our project here in just a second. I'm almost finished. So I had a 16 by 20. Well, let me just tell you quickly. I had no clue what I was going to make today until I took Owen upstairs to put him down for a nap. So literally, I knew I had just a few minutes to decide what I was going to make, get it all together, put him down for a nap, and run downstairs. Thankfully, I have Mark there. It's wonderful, and he helps me with everything. But when I walked in the room, I saw this black canvas sitting there, and I'm like, I haven't done a black canvas. I was trying to dovetail these, and they're not lining up good. So anyway, I pulled that canvas out, and I'm like, okay, I've got these wreaths. They're sitting right there beside the canvas. I know I can do something with that. Even though I've had these wreaths forever and I haven't used them, I thought I would try to do it today. So the canvas was already painted black from another project. I had the wreath. I didn't like the color of the wreath, but I stained it with some gel stain to give it a little bit more color because it was blonde. I don't really care for blonde wood at all, pretty much in anything. But we stained it. Then we put our words in the middle of the canvas. I've mounted the wreath on top. I've also added the flowers, and now we're going to put our bow right here in the middle. And then we also added the sled on the side. Okay, I know you guys, I'm trying to see if you guys can see. All right, I'm going to get all of my pieces together, wrap up my bow real fast, get it glued on, and then I will let you guys go on about your day. I need a piece of jute to tie it with. So what I'm going to do, because I did 4 layers of each one of these, you know a messy bow is just an X. And you literally take 2 of the same kind of ribbon, make an X, then you layer on the next 2. So I'm just going to do 2 full layers all the way through. So now I've got my candy stripe ribbon. Then I'll go back to my burlap again, add it in. Sometimes it gets kind of hard to hold all the pieces, but the fuller it is, the better. The cuter it is, the cuter it turns out. Crisscross. Okay, so now I have an X. All of my ribbons are all stacked up. Take my burlap, wrap it around the middle, flip it over upside down, tie it in a tight knot. Thank you for sprinkling. It does sound funny when you say sprinkle. I always think about the sign that I've seen, you know, people put in their bathrooms, and it's just a joke, I guess, for men, but don't sprinkle when you tinkle. That's what sprinkle makes me think of. But that's the word that's acceptable to use on Facebook instead of S-H-A-R-E. Or I could say spread the love or something crazy like that, but I don't know if I like that any better than sprinkle. So I'll just do what everybody else is doing. I'll follow the lead. We sprinkle. Okay, so I've got my bow and I'm literally just gonna flip it up. Just pull it all up, make it a little crazy. You want to be able to see all those layers and colors. Turn it whichever direction you think it looks the best. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I have a theme, a color theme. I'm a very traditional color Christmas person usually, which is of course red and green. I'm not big on green ribbons. Get this over here where you can see a little bit. There's my bow. I'm just gonna smush it right down in here, and I'm gluing it right on top of the ribbon where I hung it across the top of the canvas. But anyway, I just think, okay, I'm making all these items and some of them are gonna go into a store or two, but you know, I want them to all kind of match each other, because if I decide to pull them out and use them in my house, I want it to be something I like and something I want to use. So that's the theme. So this actually matches. You could put this with the mittens that I did last week that I no longer have, thanks to Leah. Leah won those. Thank you for sprinkling, Dawn. I don't know, Dawn, why you're late to the party. We got to figure out how to tell everybody to set their notifications to notify you whenever I'm going live. That is on our mission to figure that out. I'm looking at Mark because when I say it's our mission, it really means it's his mission. Anyway, so pretty much every piece that I have made so far these last few weeks will all go together. Look at that. Okay, I thought I was going to need to add some more white around the edges. I don't think I am. I think I'm going to leave it just like that. Okay, I am noticing that the Merry Christmas is kind of high in that circle. It's really not. It's centered, but my wreath, well, because it's so full up here, I'm thinking maybe it needs to go up just a little bit. You guys agree? Guess what? It's not too late to fix that. I'm just going to take my ribbon up here. It's already glued, but I'm going to pinch it and pull it and re-glue it, because I think that Christmas should be more centered. Let me do this real fast. Remember, when you make a mistake, or not a mistake, but just you've done something that you're not really crazy about how it turned out or whatever, you can always fix it. It's not a big deal. Let me let that glue soak through. Burning my fingers. That's on my Christmas list. Is some finger protectors. Okay, that's almost, it's holding anyway. Let me get rid of this excess right here. Okay, much better. Does that look better? So you guys tell me what you think. Hey Amy, I didn't know you were watching. Hey Jennifer, I knew you were here. So you guys like this? So it is a free floating wreath. It says Merry Christmas in the middle. And that's today's project. The stain is dry to touch right now, but it will continue to dry. But won't this be cute? Oh, up above your television or beside your TV, hanging in the background beside your fireplace or your Christmas tree, on top of your fireplace, wherever you want to put it. It'll be so cute. All right, well, that is today's live. You fix the problem, click on the 3 dots at the top of the live, then click Get Live Notifications. Dawn, you are amazing. So Dawn says, it should be probably then on any post, right, Dawn? Any one of the Happy Home posts. I may need some white down here. She says click on the dots, the 3 dots at the top right of a post, like on this video, and then click on Get Live Notifications. So anytime we go live, then you will see. Okay, I appreciate that information, Dawn. I knew there was a way to do it. We just hadn't got to the point yet of finding out, but now we know. So I want everybody to do that. I'll be telling you to do that from now on. Be sure to tell me when you sprinkle. Watch the replay if you joined late. It's not a big deal. Trying to think of anything else I want to tell you in housekeeping, about housekeeping. But I am, and then Dawn, your name just popped up really big. Let's see. Yes, when Micah gets here and you come to visit, you will be welcome to come and craft. You can join in on one of those monthly subscriptions too. Anyway, I was going to tell you something else. Oh, I am going to be putting together another giveaway, but it's going to be a bigger giveaway. It may be a giveaway that goes across a few weeks, and it will be for sprinkling will be part of it, but that will not be all of it. But there is more information to come on that. Probably by tomorrow I will get that up and posted. I want you guys to know what I need you to do to help me out and for you to go into our drawing for hey Mom, I'm so glad you did it. My mom is getting live notifications. You did it by yourself. But anyway, whenever I get ready for this next giveaway, it will be bigger. I'm going to put together a collection of things, and but there will be more requirements for you to go into the drawing. But sprinkling is one of them. So I will go ahead and give you a heads up on that. So I will let you guys go for today, and I will see you at some point tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.